So the second part of this video, what I'm gonna do is talk about breastfeeding essentials, in my opinion. So things that I think you need if you're going to be nursing but also pumping. So I would say if you're exclusively breastfeeding, you're not pumping at all, you don't need much. So I would say one, a nursing bra or nursing tank. Nursing tanks are great. I basically live in them all the time. And you can just like throw a shirt on over it if you're going out. I just wear that, and it makes for really easy nursing. If you're out on the go or you're home, it's just really easy. You could throw a sweater over it, whatever. So nursing tanks are great. I can't imagine not using a nursing bra or a nursing tank and having to like fully undress every single time. That would just be really annoying. Another must-have, if you can see this is the Earth Mama organic nipple butter. I have a bunch of these because I have like one in my car, one on my bedstand, one downstairs, one, where she usually eats, everywhere, one in my diaper bag. This brand specifically is my favorite. So it's very, you can kind of see, it's like almost gone. It's like a yellowy color. It has like a, almost like an olive oil. I wonder if it says the ingredients. I don't know, but it says when you're done nursing, if you have leftover, you can apply it to your lips, your cheeks and stuff, like a healing balm. So it's like organic. I don't really know what's in it. It smells fine. So I really like this one, and you don't need to like wipe it off before you nurse or pump or anything like that. The other one that I use is the Lancino lanolin one, and that's in like a purple tube. I only have that because that's what they gave me at the hospital, and I just use it. But I would not recommend using that Lancino or any lanolin in the very beginning when you're really sore, because it's sticky, and if you put that on and then put like a nursing pad or anything over, when you go to take that off and it rips any scab or skin or anything off, it is very painful. So the butters are not sticky at all. They're very smooth, but they're not sticky. So I would definitely recommend in the first few weeks using some type of butter. I also tried the Honest Company butter, and I do not like it. I don't like the smell at all. It makes me like really nauseous. I don't like the smell, and it's like way too, like, it actually feels like actual like butter, so it's like a lot comes off. Like, I don't really like it, but this brand I love, the Earth Mama one, but that's just my preference. But I would say this is a must for anyone who is nursing. And the other thing, if you're exclusively breastfeeding, that in my opinion is a must-have, is the breast pads things. This is just like the Parent Choice brand, the Walmart brand. They are fine. You could buy the Lancino brand. They're a little bit more bulky in my opinion, but there's a bunch of different kinds, and those are good because if you're using any type of butter or lanolin, you don't want to get it on your clothes. So I use those so I don't get anything on my actual clothes, and that's really helpful. So those are probably, in my opinion, the things that you would need for exclusively breastfeeding. If you're pumping though, you're gonna need a little bit more stuff. So for me, a must-have, and I'm so happy that I got this pump, but this is the Spectra S9 Plus. So I have the Spectra S9 Plus, and then I also have this Spectra, I think it's the S2, it's the pink Spectra. But this one is portable, so like it can turn on. Right now it's on. I put this in my pocket and walk around and pump every time I pump. So my S2 is much bigger. I'll put in a picture, but it's much bigger and it has to be plugged into a wall. So there is the Spectra S1, I think the blue one, that doesn't have to be plugged into a wall, but it's big. You can't like put it in your pocket or anything like that. Like this is very, very, very portable. So it's so easy. Spectra pumps you can buy on Amazon. They're way cheaper than other brands. They're great. The S1 and the S2 has more settings than this one, so that is one thing that I do like about the S1 and the S2 versus the S9. But with the S9, I mean, it's fine that it doesn't have the different settings, but when I go back to work, I'll bring my S2 to work and I'll leave this home for when I do pump it home. Nyx is sucking her thumb right now, so you might hear that in the background. So a pump, very necessary, and in my opinion, if you pump a lot, like I do, I would recommend something that's very portable. So speaking of portability, portable pumps, I don't know. This is the Freemie cup. I highly recommend these. I love them. They go right into your shirt. So again, nursing tank or nursing bra, you just put this right in, and then the pump hooks in through here with the tubing, and there's different adapters, and I'll do a separate video on how you can hook up the Freemie cups to the Spectra. There's a few different things that you can do, but it makes walking around super easy. So if I use the flanges that come with the Spectra pump, you can't do anything. You can't really hold the baby because they stick out and there's two bottles on the end, and it's like, it's very difficult to do things when you're walking around and pumping with those. But when you have the Freemie cups, it is very hands-free. You don't need to switch into a special bra or anything like that. It's super easy. We recently took a road trip to New York. I was driving and pumping with those, and it was totally fine. So the milk actually fills up right into the cup. And there's markers on the cup for how many ounces, and then you just pour it right into a bottle or a bag when you're done with that. So I love that. So one thing I'll say about the Freemies that I don't like is that, I don't know, I feel like there's more potential to leak. So sometimes if it's not snapped all the way, I'll realize it's leaking out. And there is sometimes like milk flows into the tube. Now with the Spectra, there's a backflow protector, so it only flows onto the backflow protector, not into the actual pump. But that does happen, especially if you fill the cups up, which like a first morning pump, that'll happen, and it's really annoying. But I still use those 9 times out of 10 over the Spectra flanges and bottles. Another must-have if you are pumping is storage bags. So I personally really like the Bonafide baby ones. So I had a friend who recommended those to me, and you get them on Amazon, although they're made in America. And the thing with those is like they sell out and then they don't get in stock for like 2 months. So that's really annoying because I really like them, but I think they're a much smaller company, so their production is probably a little bit different. I tried the Lancino brand, and I personally don't like how thin they are. I feel like when I open them, like I'm going to rip them, and then I'm going to have holes in the bags. So those like worry me a little bit. So I recently read reviews and found that people who said who they like Bonafide babies also like the Dr. Brown's bags. So these are the Dr. Brown's bag. It's you know, sealed for sanitary purposes, and this just rips off. It's really easy. It's really easy to pour the milk into. It's not as thick as the Bonafide bags, but it is thicker than the Lancino bags. So I like these a lot. They are more expensive than the Lancino bags, but they were like on sale on Amazon. You know, sometimes they do like $2 off or whatever. So I got a bunch of these, and I really like them. So if the Bonafide ones are out for a while, I'll probably just stick to Dr. Brown's for a while. So another thing, if you're pumping, for me, I like these bottles, these Philips Avent bottles, to pour the milk from the Freemie cup into the bottle so I can determine how many ounces I have pumped, and then from the bottle I pour them into the bag. So it seems like a lot of steps, but I do that because when you pour it into the bag, I don't feel like you have a very accurate reading on how much milk is actually in the bag. And when you go to unfreeze milk, it's only good for 24 hours. So I don't want to unfreeze, and it takes like 12 hours to unfreeze. So I don't want to take 12 hours to unfreeze something and it not be enough, or unfreeze it and then I can't use it because it's too much milk, then that she's not gonna drink it all in the 24-hour period. So I do that extra step just so I know how much milk I have. So I like these bottles specifically because it's really easy to read the lines. So the Spectra pump comes with bottles, but you can't even see that on the video because it's just like they're just raised bumps on the bottle, so they're clear. So it's very difficult to read it, especially once there's milk in there. So I'm always like scrunching my eyes. So I don't really like those. I like the Philips Avon ones for that. So another must-have if you're pumping and you pump in the middle of the night or early morning, which I do both, is a freezer or like a cooler bag, because I live in a 2-story house and I am very lazy to walk downstairs in the middle of the night, like 3, 4, 5 a.m. to put my milk in the freezer. So I put ice packs, those like freezer ice packs, in this bag, and then once I pump the milk, I pour it in the bottle, measure it out in the bag, like all in the middle of the night, and then I store it in here until the morning because I don't feel like walking downstairs to the freezer. So I store it in here, and then in the morning, unload that all into my deep freezer. So I do all of that to store milk overnight just to make my life easier. And then for bottles, I already mentioned, these are the bottles that we feed her from, the Como Tomo bottles. And the only reason why is because I had a friend who recommended these bottles for breastfed babies. This is what we started with. So I've tried giving her the Philips Avon bottles, and she does take those, but she takes these much better. So we either do those or these, and I have more of these bottles than I do the Philips Avon bottles. So that's that. And then the last thing for me, an essential, is a bin like this. So this has bottles, a Freemie cup. I have it all just like thrown in here right now because I used it for this video, but I have that. So like I keep it next to my bed. I fill it up every night before bed, and then I keep it in there with some of the Freemie cups and the bottles and everything I need for the middle of the night, so I don't have to go downstairs and pull everything out. And then I also have one of those to put all the dirty stuff in, and then I bring that dirty stuff down in the morning, and then I do all the dishes then, because I am not gonna go at like 3 in the morning and wash all those dishes. But I also just don't want to leave them out randomly because they are for pumping, and I want to keep everything as clean as I can. So that's kind of what I do, and that system has really worked for me. And I do pump 7 to 8 times a day, so like I have to like be as organized as I can. And then I guess also I brought to show in this video for travel, like a wet bag to store your things in, because we've already taken one road trip to New York and we will be taking another very soon. So when I'm pumping in the car and I finish, I have a bag that I put the dirty stuff into, and then I have a bag that has all the clean pump stuff. I bring a few of these to put the milk in to keep it cool so it doesn't go bad. So those are just things that I do. So like I said, for me, the journey has been quite difficult. I don't know like if that comes across in this video, really expressing of how difficult it was, but I have to say there were a lot of tears in the early weeks, and it was really with the help and support of my family and friends and my husband that I continued with breastfeeding, and I am really happy I did. But now it's much better. We're in a much better place. I nurse a lot more than I used to, and I still do pump, so building that freezer stash and everything like that. But for me, I'm just happy I didn't give up and that we're still going. But that's really it. Those are some of the things that I use. And then actually the last thing is a big Yeti cup filled with water. Keep that near your bed and with you throughout the day because it is so important to stay hydrated. And if you nurse or pump, you probably know how thirsty you get as soon as you sit down to start feeding your baby. So that's it for breastfeeding journey and essentials.